So Colorado's primary election just a week away, and a Republican U.S. Senate candidate is not saying if he will accept those results, the results of it.
It is one of the headlines to emerge from a debate hosted by CBS 4 and the Colorado Sun. And by the way, ballots in the primary election are due next week, Tuesday, June 28th. Now, it's too late to put your ballot in the mail. Won't get there on time. But you can still use a drop box or vote in person. Polls close at 7 p.m. next Tuesday.
Now, the two Republicans vying to replace Democratic incumbent Michael Bennet are Ron Hanks, a state representative out of Fremont County, who has served in the military and worked in oil and gas. Joe O'Dea, a first-time candidate and construction company owner from Greenwood Village. Political specialist Sean Boyd moderated that debate between the two Republicans.
And Sean, Hanks tossed out a curveball, didn't he?
Yep. Well, he is an election conspirator,
yes,
which is why I asked him if he would accept the results of this election. He refused to say. This is the first and only Senate primary debate hosted by a nonpartisan media outlet, and it revealed deep policy divides between the candidates on a number of key issues. Political debates alone don't decide elections, but there are moments that may move the needle, and this one of them. Will you accept the results of this primary election?
Well, we obviously have to see what we will see here.
Ron Hanks, who attended President Trump's Stop the Steal rally, clearly won't go quietly if he loses.
I think we ought to scrub the voter rolls clean and start over. And frankly, the mail-in ballots is a big problem.
Joe O'Dea says that is why Democrats are spending millions to make Hanks the nominee.
They want to have him having this debate all summer with Michael Bennet, talking about elections that are stolen, instead of talking about what's really important to working Americans here in Colorado, which is the price of gas. It's inflation every time we turn around.
Inflation, one of the few issues they agree on, both blaming overregulation of oil and gas and overspending by Congress. Their positions on abortion, more complicated. Hanks was open to exceptions for a mother's life in 2010. Now he's not, but he is open to talking about it.
I am happy to talk about it more, but what I have learned, what I have gleaned, I am firmly convinced that there are no situations where a life of a mother is impacted or affected or saved by an abortion.
O'Dea opposes late-term abortions and supports some exceptions, including early in a pregnancy, but wouldn't say what's early and what's late.
I think it has something to do with viability, but that's the debate, and that debate can be had by each state.
On health care, Hanks would repeal Obamacare.
I think good old-fashioned health care is what we ought to go to.
O'Dea would keep the law, saying Republicans remove the worst parts.
The pre-existing condition, that needs to be a priority for Americans.
They also disagree on what to do about those in the country illegally. Hanks says deport them all. O'Dea says let dreamers stay. And the others?
They need to get in line. They need to go through a process. We can't just let them in.
Then there's the war in Ukraine. O'Dea supports aid for Ukrainians, calling Putin evil. Hanks doesn't.
Putin does not have to take this kind of embarrassment and this kind of beating from the United States.
Finally, on climate change, O'Dea's a believer, Hanks a denier, but they both oppose subsidies for renewables. Both candidates also pledged to support Donald Trump if he is the Republican nominee for president in 2024. But in the 2022 Secretary of State race, Hanks wouldn't say if he'll vote for fellow election denier Tina Peters, the embattled Mesa County clerk. O'Dea supports former Jefferson County clerk Pam Anderson. Karen?
All right, Sean. Thank you.